Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Peternell. I'm the owner of Family Nutrition Services in Denver, but welcome to my home. Today I'm recording this video from my kitchen, and it's summer and it's hot. And I've been thinking a lot about fresh summer produce, and I guess so have my followers and my clients, because I've been getting a lot of questions about what we can eat that doesn't require a lot of cooking, so we don't have to turn on the oven, but that also is nutritious and health supportive. So a couple years ago, I wrote a blog about smoothies and juices because I do get a lot of questions about these two nutritional beverages, I guess is the word I would use to describe them, because they're not really meals and they're not really just a drink, right? They're not just a beverage. So I get questions about if these can be good additions or a big part of a healthy diet. And I love this question. And I'm a huge fan of both, but I'm going to explain to you in this video why. So, first of all, it's summer, and there's a lot of fresh produce in season right now, whether it's at your grocery store, maybe the local farmer's market, or maybe even something that you're growing in your backyard. There's a lot of really easy fruits that you can grow and veggies like leafy greens, and you have immediate access to them because they're in your own backyard. So the thing about smoothies, I think that there's maybe been some debate and maybe some misconceptions, is that they've been given a bad rap because fruit juices and fresh fruit smoothies are technically high in sugar, but they're high in what's called fructose, which is fruit sugar. And if smoothies are done right, meaning the right combination of the right types of fresh fruits and vegetables, plus some add-ins, maybe like nut butter, protein powder, hemp seeds, etc., this can actually be a very satiating way to replace a meal or to complement your daily diet overall. So sometimes we worry because we hear about a health trend, but then we hear about the pros and cons, or maybe someone tells us, oh, you shouldn't do that. But I have basically come up with what I think are the reasons why fresh juices and smoothies are actually very good for us. So store-bought juices, yes, they are processed, okay? And if we're just talking about like a container of orange juice, sometimes they are actually processed in such a way that many of the nutrients are removed. So that's not good. And in that case, I would agree. Having too much just straight up juice is not necessarily a good thing. Juices that are pasteurized, which means the heating process damages vitamins and enzymes, or any juices that have preservatives that help make them last longer in the grocer's refrigerator and your own refrigerator, also may not be as healthy for you. Juices often have added sugar or other sweeteners. Seriously, right? Why? And other juices are diluted and mixed with cheaper juices than what you see on the front label. Like a great example is that grape juice is inexpensive and they add it to a lot of store-bought commercial juices, apple juice too. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing if you're looking at like a fruit and vegetable juice blend. However, if it's just basically trying to stretch their product further to make a buck, and there's a lot of other stuff added in, check your labels. So a real juice option, is kind of like that fancy juice that you can find at like, a stand, maybe at the farmer's market, or maybe like a standalone juice shop in a high-end part of town where you're paying like $15 for basically organic fruit and vegetables in a glass. And to be honest with you, while that's a nice treat every now and then, you can do juices at home for pennies on the dollar. So this type of juicing, meaning a real, fresh-pressed juice option, actually has the full nutritional package, okay? They're not pasteurized. They're usually fresh and raw, and there's no unwanted ingredients. Like I said, the downside is really the price for these basically artisanal juices, and they became popular for a reason, right? Because a lot of people who decided that maybe they weren't getting enough nutrition from eating fresh fruits and vegetables, but they could essentially drink their nutrition, this became appealing to a lot of people. But it's not sustainable cost-wise. So you can make your own juice, And that way you're in charge of everything. You're in charge of all of the ingredients that you want to add to your juice. And you get to decide basically, how you want to make it extra fresh, add in some spicy ginger, maybe add some health benefits to your juice, like a little nub of turmeric root. Or if you like it a little bit more sweet, you can add a couple more slices of apple. If you like it less sweet, you can do more spinach. So in order to really do good juicing, you need to buy a juicer. And so I just talked about the cost of these expensive juices, and now I'm saying maybe what you want to do is buy a juicer that frankly can run anywhere from $40 to over $500. I personally think that you do get what you pay for when it comes to a juicer, but you don't need the highest end model. I think that buying a juicer somewhere in the $100 to $200 range is going to get you a very decent juicer that will last you for years and years and years. I previously had a Breville juicer that I got when we first got married. That was 16 years ago, and I only just recently replaced it with a Huron juicer. So honestly, the lower end, the higher end, I think as long as you take good care of it, you use it properly, you clean it properly, and you store it properly, these juicers will last you for a very long time. And after a dozen uses, you've basically made your money back on it, right? So here's the thing. If you're going to juice at home, you're going to be getting lots of nutrition from fresh fruits and vegetables. Your produce is going to go a long way in terms of giving you nutritional value. But one of the things that you're not getting is fiber. Okay, and fiber is obviously a pretty big, important part of the nutritional benefits of fresh fruits and vegetables. So let's jump over now and talk about smoothies, because this is actually one place where you can keep the fiber intact. Smoothies are basically a lot of the same things that go into fresh pressed juice, but it also includes the fiber because in the blending process, nothing is lost. In the juicing process, those fresh fruits and vegetables are masticated and pressed down so that the fiber is actually extracted. In a homemade smoothie, all you need is a blender. And let me tell you that in this particular case, you don't want something that's lumpy or chunky or too fibrous, right? So a blender should be just that. It should make the smoothie very smooth. An inexpensive blender, you are going to know the difference. But again, you don't necessarily need the highest end like a Vitamix, for example. There are a lot of blenders on the market. What you're looking for is one that has those masticating blades, similar to a juicer. They're going to break down that cell wall, and they are going to basically pulverize the cellular structure of the plants that you're putting into it. I do have a Vitamix, in fact, and I've been using it for over 20 years, and nothing's ever gone wrong with it. It has more than paid for itself because I practically use it every single day. And also, in addition to using it for smoothies, I also use it for soups and dips and sauces and all kinds of things. So if you decide that one of these kitchen tools, either a juicer or a blender, and a decent one at that, you're actually making an investment in a kitchen tool that I think you will use quite a bit. So I want to talk to you not about those appliances necessarily, but I want to talk about the health differences, because this is where I think a lot of people are concerned, hey, I don't want to do too much of these smoothies because they can actually disrupt my blood sugar, or they may not be very good for me. On the contrary, these types of nutritional beverages have a healthy place in your food plan, and it can actually serve a number of different purposes. Smoothies have all the nutrients and benefits of every item of produce that you put into it, including the fiber. And in fact, it's the fiber in your smoothie that will slow down a blood sugar reaction so that you're not spiking your blood sugar. And as I said, the fiber is just one aspect that can make this very satiating, including maybe some healthy fats and maybe even some proteins that you can add to your smoothie. If you decide you're going to add something like a fat or an oil, I recommend nuts and seeds or nut butter. These both have support for blood sugar issues, and especially if you have a blood sugar disorder, you want to make sure that you're not just doing a fresh fruit and vegetable smoothie, but in fact, you are doing kind of a whole food smoothie. Yes, if you're adding a lot of stuff to it, you can end up with a lot to drink. So you kind of have to know how much you're going to put into your blender so that you are getting not just, a snack or a meal replacement, but you're not getting 1,500 calories in your smoothie. Now, one thing you can do is you can make a big batch of smoothie and you can store them in little mason jars in your refrigerator. I love to do that. That means I can just reach in, pull one out, shake it up a little bit, and I'm good to go. Smoothies can be very filling. And so sometimes you need to gauge, am I making a smoothie because this is going to be maybe my lunch replacement? Or do you just need something kind of refreshing and light that's going to give you a little bit of a boost until your next big meal? All right, from the nutritional standpoint on juices, they are also extremely nutrient dense because the juice is extracted and again, the pulp is removed. That means that those nutrients are supercharged and readily available to be absorbed into the bloodstream where the nutrients can do the most magic. Without the fiber, yes, it is true that juice can raise blood sugar. And so if you do have a sugar-sensitive condition, or if you have diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, or hypoglycemia, then you do need to make sure that you're not going too heavy on the fruits. Lack of fiber makes juice easy to digest, and it also makes them very supportive of detoxification. If a person has something like the need for a low fiber diet, such as in the case of diverticulitis, a low fiber juice is actually a very good option for getting in all of those fresh vegetable and fruit nutrients that helps to support health. You can do a juice detox for a couple of days. I wouldn't recommend it for a long period of time, but especially in a lot of the individuals who do my Springboard annual detox program every spring or summer, many people incorporate juice blends into their options because of their ability to support detoxification. And I'm talking specifically about the leafy greens that you can juice, like from spinach or kale or Swiss chard or bok choy, so on and so forth. So if you find that, hey, listen, you're experiencing constipation, maybe during a detox or just in general, maybe you need that fiber, and maybe you need to be thinking about doing a smoothie instead. I personally do both. I juice, I make smoothies, and I just kind of listen to my body to see what sounds good for today. I like to check in, look at my workload, look at my plans for exercise, look at what else maybe is on the menu for other meals that day, which helps me decide, yep, today's going to be a juice day, and I really just need it for its refreshing, hydrating, nutrient-dense nature, or gosh, I am going to have to take this smoothie to go because it's probably going to be my lunch in between client appointments. So having a plan for how you incorporate juices and smoothies will be very helpful. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I really think one of the main benefits of both smoothies and juices is that if you're a person who struggles to get enough vegetables in your diet, this is the way to go. I'll be honest, drinking your vegetables is a delicious solution to not eating enough fruits and vegetables. So I had an old friend of mine who was a pediatrician once said, oh, that just seems like a really sneaky way to hide vegetables. And I was like, I'm not being sneaky at all. My veggies in my smoothies and in my juice turn out my end product to be bright green. So especially when I'm juicing or making smoothies for my kids, they know they're getting a hefty dose of vegetables. And so, you know what? They can't really taste it. And I feel like when you are combining fresh fruits and vegetables together, you are getting all of those nutrients in a way that is a little bit more delicious than, say, steamed Brussels sprouts, for example. That is definitely an acquired taste, and especially younger people, kids, they don't really like that as much. So if you're looking for a way to boost up fresh fruits and vegetables in the diet, or if you know the diet is lacking in particular vitamins and minerals like magnesium or iron, this is the great way to get those fresh, bright, dark greens into your diet. Okay, so let's kind of skip ahead a little bit because I wanted actually to talk about all the benefits, which I hopefully have covered. I debated whether or not to give you a juicing demonstration, to give you a smoothie demonstration, but I already have some other videos about that, so check those out. But today is really a focus on the health benefits. And if you're totally new to juicing and also to making smoothies, I have a very easy recipe for you. And it actually can be both juice or smoothie. So here's how it works. You're going to take some pineapple diced, and it can be fresh or frozen, about a cup or so. One smallish organic cucumber. I like to peel off the skin. Again, dice it up. A couple of big handfuls of fresh organic baby spinach. You can also add, if you would like, a little knob of peeled fresh ginger. I like to add herbs into my smoothies and juice, so I would go ahead and add in some flat leaf parsley, probably a handful, and some ice cubes, and then a whole organic lemon squeezed right into the blender. That's all you need in this ingredient for this particular recipe. Put it all into the blender, and then just turn it on and let it go until it looks very, very smooth. And be patient, because it might take a while. In fact, sometimes I actually turn my blender on high and then I go do something else for a couple of minutes while it's running, and then I come back to check on it. So, you know that phrase, a watched pot doesn't boil? Well, a watched blender doesn't make the best smoothie either. So give it a minute, let it do its thing, and then you can come back. And if you want it as a smoothie with all of the fiber from the pineapple, the cucumber, the baby spinach, the ginger, the lemon juice, etc., well, just drink it as is. Pour it right into a glass. Add a reusable straw, and you're good to go. But if instead you're thinking, gosh, that might be too much fiber for me today, or you need to follow a low fiber diet, or if you're just using this as a refreshing, maybe post-workout juice, all you have to do is pour the juice through a very fine mesh nut milk bag or cheesecloth, or even through a fine mesh strainer, and just push it through and squeeze it nice and tight until all of the liquid from the smoothie is in the bowl, and then you'll be looking at basically all of the pulp in the nut milk bag. So a lot of people decide they're going to make some pretty cool other recipes with the pulp. Sometimes I have time for that, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just give it to the guinea pig. Sometimes I just put it in the yard as part of our fertilizer. There's a lot of things you can do so you're not feeling like you're wasting. On my website, I actually have this recipe as a PDF that you can download. So it's called the Green Blender Juice or Smoothie, and it is actually a part of my blog post on this very same subject, as I was mentioning earlier, juicing versus smoothies. The fight is over. You can love them both. So that's a great place to start to get a fresh vegetable and fruit smoothie that's low sugar, really safe for individuals who have blood sugar disorders, very, very nutrient dense, and a great start to your juicing or smoothie repertoire. As a parting note, I would just like you to know that if you are basically dealing with a health crisis, okay, and this is kind of my disclaimer for juicing and using smoothies in general. If you're in a health crisis, meaning you know your blood sugar's out of whack, you are definitely experiencing maybe a Hashimoto's flare or an adrenal crash, or if you are feeling extremely symptomatic in any way where you know that your metabolic situation is probably a little sensitive to big changes, now would not be the time to go on any type of juice fast or smoothie diet program. Please be careful, because there is a lot of information out there on the internet that says lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks with a smoothie diet, or juice for 3 days and get a flat belly. If you're suffering with a chronic illness, I know that sometimes we just feel like maybe there's a quick fix out there. But I wanted to leave you today on this note. Smoothies and juices are really part of an overall health supportive diet. So if you're brand new to my channel, go back and watch some of my other videos as well about where to start on your health journey. Today is all about the differences and the benefits of both juicing and smoothies. But this information is for those who are ready to embark upon a fully health supportive food as medicine lifestyle. So, as I said, welcome. Please check out my website, read my blog post, download the smoothie recipe, and you know what? If you need more support, you can join any one of my programs to work with me one-on-one, or if you have Hashimoto's and you're looking for a self-paced online program, check out the pinned information in the description below. It talks about Nourished and Renewed, which is a great option to start to really look into the personalized nutrition that will help support you on your journey. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and hit your notifications button so you get all of my latest and greatest videos about every week or so straight to your inbox. And I will see you soon. Bye.